All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
Hey guys, it's Elena.
And it's Candace.
And you're listening to Cousins on Crime.
You're listening to
The wind.
The wind
howling.
We had the most ridiculous storm last night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it was this morning at 4:45.
Yeah.
Because that's how long I've been up.
The tornado alarm.
Tornado, yeah. The sirens were
sirens come on at 4:45. We go into the closet and Chris is like, "What time is it?" It's like midnight. No, almost 5 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, can't go to sleep.
Our
after
windows were like, it sounded like they were cracking.
Oh no!
I was like, should we go get the girls and go to the bathroom? Like, because we have a bathroom that's directly in the middle of the house.
Okay, yeah.
But I went to check on them and they were all just completely out.
Did you have sirens going?
We did have sirens going. Well,
yeah. I mean, we have a lot of the time that the sirens go, there's like no tornado, but you still want to be, we're like getting Grayson into the closet with us and
yeah, but I know I should have.
Well,
but
I mean, and you go on Facebook and everybody's like, it's just the wind, guys. 70-mile-per-hour wind.
It was so loud, like on the back of the house, which is where our bedroom is at.
Yeah.
The girls' bedroom, I mean, it was quiet.
Yeah.
Their bedrooms were quiet because they're on the front.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just strange. I don't know.
I'm glad they were peaceful.
Yeah. And then, so it died down around 6-ish something. It got quiet. It was still windy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the girls woke up. So I was planning to go back to sleep for like an hour, but
no rest for the weary.
No rest for the wicked. But yeah, so we're just still in a wind tunnel over here.
Yeah, so as you listen to us, you can listen to the wind.
Yeah, sorry about the wind in the background.
Yeah. All right, we'll get right into it.
Let's do it.
Today we're talking about Christine Morton. She was born as Christine Marie Kirkpatrick on April 18th, 1955 in Houston, Texas.
All right.
She was popular, outgoing, intelligent, and loved to debate.
Oh, did she become a lawyer?
We'll see. She attended Stephen F. Austin State University.
Okay.
Where she met Michael Morton. They were inseparable and really a good match. Christine and Michael married in April of 1979 and lived in Austin, Texas. In 1986, Michael was working as a supermarket manager. He described his family as average.
Now, when you meet my family, they're just a bit average.
We're just average. No, he says we're a chunk out of a demographic study. He says the house, the yard, the kid, the car. He said we had everything but the picket fence.
Okay.
He says it was good.
All right.
By this time, their son Eric was 3 years old, and he was finally eligible for the open heart surgery that he needed.
Oh, no.
Due to a congenital heart defect.
I know.
I'd
I'd be a mess.
Yeah. So the surgery was successful. And so 6 weeks later down the road, on August 12th, the family of 3 went out to dinner at a restaurant to celebrate Michael's 32nd birthday.
Oh.
They had a great time. They arrived home and got Eric put to bed. Michael was expecting a little more, like a little birthday celebration.
Okay, I
in the
see where you're
bedroom.
going with this.
Yeah. But by the time they got Eric to bed and settled, Christine
was asleep.
She was tired.
Vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, she fell asleep. Michael was admittedly disappointed.
Oh, sorry, Mikey.
The next morning, Michael woke up, got ready for work, but before he left, he wrote Christine a note and left it on the bathroom vanity.
Ay.
In his note, he announced his frustration on how the night ended. He signed the note saying, "I love you." And then he left for work. It was about 5:30 in the morning. The Morton's neighbor, Elizabeth Gee, had come outside to garden in her yard in the morning hours. She noticed 3-year-old Eric outside by himself.
Oh, no.
He had been going in and out of the front door. He sat on the front steps and kept peeking around the car looking at Elizabeth. And she walked over to see what was going on and noticed that he had a pretty full and heavy diaper.
Oh.
She picked Eric up in her arms and went into their home. She called out for Christine, but there was no answer. Elizabeth took Eric to her house to sit with her son, and then she went back over to the Mortons' home to investigate. When she walked into the master bedroom, she saw that the dresser drawers had been pulled out and ransacked.
Oh, God, not this.
Yeah. There were baskets and a blue suitcase on the bed. Elizabeth walked over to the bed and she pulled the covers down, and that's when she found Christine lifeless on the bed. She had been bludgeoned to death. Elizabeth checked her wrist for a pulse, but could not find one. She ran back to her house and called 911. A little later, Michael got off work and went to the babysitter's house to pick up Eric.
But he wasn't there.
Michael and the babysitter were confused. Like, Christine never dropped Eric off that day. And I mean, that was the plan after all that Michael knew of. He was never informed that Christine changed the plans.
So Christine would go off to work. She would drop him off at the babysitter and go to work.
That's what I'm assuming. So Michael goes at 5:30. So it was
like a routine.
Yeah. So Michael used the babysitter's phone to call his wife at home. Imagine Michael's shock when Sheriff Jim Boutwell answered the phone.
Oh, that's enough to make you feel sick there.
Yeah. He told Michael that he needed to come home right away. As he arrived, he could see police and crime scene tape lining his property.
Oh.
As Michael tried to walk through the front door, he was rejected by the sheriff. He was told that Eric was at the neighbor's house. Michael asked where his wife was, and they told him that she was dead.
Oh, Lord.
Sheriff Boutwell eventually had Michael come into the house, and they questioned him for hours.
I can't even imagine this. Horror.
Right. Like, you won't let me in my house.
You can't come in. Your wife's dead.
Actually, come in here. You can sit in the living room.
Sit right here while they're upstairs with her.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. No, let me go see.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So they ask him all about his life and marriage, and Michael actually signed a consent to allow them to search his house.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Detectives asked Michael about the note that he wrote to Christine. Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. So they thought, was he mad enough that he felt so rejected that he went into a rage and killed Christine? He said that he wished he never wrote that note, realizing how bad it looked.
Oh, and
but
that was like the last thing she read of his?
If she even
If
read
she
it.
read it. Was it still in the same place when he came home?
Or a report I read said it was found on the bathroom vanity.
Okay, so maybe she didn't even get a chance to read it.
I'm hoping not. But
well, and you know what? That makes sense too, because if his diaper was so full, it was probably full from the night before.
Exactly. She didn't even get up to change his diaper.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Blessed.
So, yeah, no, Michael's like, no, I was not mad enough about that to do something so heinous.
Mm-hmm.
When asked if anything was missing from their home, he did note that his .45 caliber pistol was missing from the dresser. After being questioned, Michael was able to go to the neighbor's house to get Eric. He talked to the neighbor for a little bit and then decided to go back to his home. I guess the police and detectives had already left.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, how in the world?
I couldn't.
So he goes back home, he feeds Eric and puts him to bed. After putting Eric to bed, he walked into the master bedroom and he saw the shocking evidence of Christine's murder.
Oh, Lord.
There was blood on the ceiling and the headboard.
Oh my God. We've got to do something about this for families. Like, we have to do something. There has to be.
I mean, this was in the 80s, so hopefully by now.
Well, I know that there are crime scene cleanup companies.
Right.
But I just feel like the detectives could say, do you want us to have them come today?
Right. We'll put you in a hotel room. Yeah. Do you have a family member you can stay with?
Like, just offer them the option to have it taken care of so they don't have to see that.
Yeah.
I can't even.
And who knows, maybe they did offer that, but Michael said no. I mean, he seemed like a guy that he just wanted normalcy in his life, but I couldn't imagine.
Oh, my.
I could not imagine.
No.
So, Michael spent the rest of the night just going in and out of Eric's room. Like, he stayed some of the night in there, and then he would walk around the house. He quickly scheduled Eric to see a therapist. Like, this is what I'm talking about. He wants some kind of normalcy. He wants to make sure his son is okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, he has that priority.
Absolutely.
He has him to focus on. So that's, a blessing as well.
Very good point. So this therapist noted that Eric was struggling with separation anxiety, but didn't seem to be affected by the crime itself.
Okay.
The next morning after the murder, both Michael and Christine's family came over to their house. Even after the police had done their searching of the home, Christine's brother John found a blue, blood-stained bandana.
Oh.
With the hair on it.
What?
I don't know where it was placed. I think it was outside. One report said nearby. I'm not exactly sure, but apparently it wasn't in the eye shot of the detectives. Yeah. Her brother John found it, and he did turn it in to detectives. The only testing that they could do at the time was blood typing.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't be able to determine who it belonged to. Orwin Holland, a neighbor from down the street, reported to police that morning his wife had seen a man in a dark green van parked in an empty lot behind the Morton's home. She saw the man walk up to their fence and look into the Morton's yard.
Wait a minute. I'm having a flashback.
You think you've heard this before?
No. I was on my way to my mom's house a couple days ago.
Oh.
And there was a guy parked up on this. Okay, so along the Longhorn.
Yes. I think I saw this too. And
he had his trunk open and he was looking over the fence. And I was like, and I seriously, when I left my mom's house, I was like, I'm going to drive back by, and he wasn't there. But I just thought, there's no reason why you would be
And he was parked on the sidewalk.
He was parked up in the grass.
Yeah. Like there's the curb, the sidewalk in the grass.
Right.
Like how and why?
Right. And
Yeah.
it was off a main road. And so, yeah, this is definitely something you'd remember.
Right.
Yeah.
And to observe something like that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So a neighbor saw this going on.
Right. And another neighbor named David St. Martin told police that his wife, Joni, saw the same man after Michael had left for work.
Oh.
Fingerprints were found on the back sliding glass door and on the suitcase that was sitting on the bed. These prints were never reported as being identified.
What?
So if they were, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. A fresh footprint was found outside of the fence of their backyard. So it corroborated.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing that detectives honed in on was the note that Michael left for Christine.
Okay.
They told Christine's family that Michael was their only suspect.
Wow. I mean, I fair enough.
Yeah. Michael was brought in for another interview that lasted hours. They asked him all the same questions, and his story stayed the same. They then scheduled him to come back later that evening for him to come in for a polygraph. When he showed up for the test, they had him sitting and waiting for more hours.
Oh,
and he had to reschedule. I don't know if he rescheduled, like, hey, I got to go get my son, or if they were like, let's just, this isn't
make
working.
Make him nervous.
Maybe.
So he'll fail.
Who knows? Yeah, that would be a tactic, right?
Sounds like a tactic.
In the days leading up to the rescheduled date, Michael was informed that he had to go to probate court due to Christine not having a will. He talked to one of his friends that was an attorney. He had questions and just needed advice about all of that. And Michael mentioned to this lawyer friend that he had an appointment to go for a polygraph. And the friend was like, he was basically like, dude,
no.
you need to get a defense attorney.
Yeah.
And so he did. His new defense attorney told him, do not talk to the police again and do not do a polygraph with the county. If he agreed to do one, it needed to be with an independent company.
Right. Okay.
Because you see, in the past 5 years at that time, no one had passed a polygraph that was done through the county.
Okay. Well, they're sitting making people wait.
Yeah. Making them nervous. We found out their tactic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michael's mother had been staying at his house to help him with Eric and just to be support to him. It was about 6 weeks later when Michael told his mother that he felt he could manage things on his own. So she went back home and left Michael to settle into his new independence.
Oh, I hate it.
That evening, as Michael was tending to Eric, they were dancing together and having fun. Well, the fun was rudely interrupted when police knocked at the door and arrested Michael.
Oh no.
Michael asked if he could call a family member to make arrangements for Eric, but they told him that they've already made arrangements with the neighbor for Eric to go over there. Well, thank you, but no thank you.
That's not your position.
Right. So the neighbor would take him until Michael's parents got back into town to get him. Amidst all of this, after Michael posted bail, he was temporarily let go from his job. But I know, just
the hits keep on coming.
I know, but he had good lawyers. Well, in some aspects, his lawyers were able to help him get his job back at least.
I wouldn't want that job back.
I know.
I wouldn't want to work for someone who's going to kick me while I'm down.
Yeah, but I mean, what are you going to do? How else
I know.
Got to
we'll
make
get a whole new
meet.
job. Yeah.
Take care of your child that he's so desperately trying to take care of. So at trial, the prosecution argued that Michael beat Christine to death because she didn't want to be intimate with him.
That's disgusting. Yeah. That's so shameful.
Yeah.
Carry on.
The defense argued that after Michael left for work that morning, someone broke into their home, killed Christine, and stole her purse, wallet, and gun off the dresser. It was determined that she had been bludgeoned to death with something wooden because there was splintered wood in her hair.
Yikes.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
A stain was found on the bed sheets, and it was tested and determined to be Michael's sperm cells.
Well, come on.
I mean, it's his bed.
I mean,
it's his bed.
That's not breaking news.
But, I mean, the prosecution, they pulled the punches.
Sure. What else are they going to work with?
Yeah. They suggested that Michael had ejaculated over her body while he was attacking her.
I can't believe this went to trial.
Mm-hmm. It sure did.
Okay.
The prosecution provided a circumstantial and hypothetical case, and they won.
What?
Michael was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean... Over nothing. Like circumstantial cases. Yeah.
You have to present a totality of evidence, not just a note.
And they did not.
That's ridiculous. Like you have to say, see, he left this note and then look at all these emails he was sending her. And then the neighbors say that this, that, and the other, but there was no pattern of behavior.
No.
Wow.
I mean, there were reports that Christine, friends would see silly things that would go on in their marriage and they would question Christine and she just would blow it off. Like it didn't, yes, they fought, but they would always make up.
Right.
Little Eric had gone to live with Christine's sister and her husband and was eventually adopted by them.
Oh.
So, yeah, the end.
Stop. That's ridiculous. 23 minutes.
I'm just kidding. Did you think I was serious?
Lena. Oh my good Lord.
Yeah. So there were a few things wrong with this trial.
A few?
Yeah.
I wasn't even there and I can tell you there's more than a few.
And to your point, there was nothing presented.
Yeah. I'm shocked.
Yeah. One of the things, the time of death, Christine's time of death was determined to be around 6 a.m. initially. In court, the medical examiner stated that the time of death was at 1:15 a.m.
Huh.
So if he says initially at 6 a.m., that's after Michael leaves for work.
Why the change? Like what was it that made him...
He says that it was decided by the food content in her stomach. I didn't go into that. I didn't break that down, but I mean, speaking of breaking down,
you digest differently when you're asleep. So
there's different ways. Okay. Yeah. How it breaks down, how long, what time did she eat? I didn't go into all that, but
maybe she got up for a midnight snack. Maybe she ate before.
She wanted her leftovers from the restaurant. And yeah. I don't know. Another thing was that the state did not have the lead investigator, Sergeant Wood, testify.
Why? That seems like your only person that you could have testify. Well, because they were worried he wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah. You're picking it up.
That's gross.
If Sergeant...
all of this, why?
Why? That is a...
But why go through all of it? Like trial is, I mean, there's a lot to prepare for a trial. Why even do it if it's not?
Well, did
they just convince themselves?
I think the prosecutor, and we can get into it a little later, but I think he wanted to get places.
He just wanted to
climb the ladder.
Belt.
Yeah, and he needed to look good. And so he got this killer off the road. I don't know.
Please.
But yeah, if Sergeant Wood were to testify, he would have had to hand over everything that he had on the case.
Mm.
The defense raised the concern with Judge William Lott, who ordered the prosecution. He had ordered the prosecution to turn over all of the reports by Sergeant Wood so that he could conduct the review of it all.
Yeah.
But get this. After reviewing these documents that could potentially help Michael's case, Judge William Lott had the documents sealed.
Why? Why though? I mean, isn't that a Brady violation?
Okay. Yeah.
That sounds like a violation.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
So yeah, Michael and his lawyers, they didn't know what any of it contained.
You can't just withhold stuff.
And they did.
That's gross.
Yeah. And actually, there was a remark made to the jury by District Attorney Mike Davis, alluding to the existence of an inch-thick stack of police reports that could have sparked doubt about Michael's guilt. I'm assuming he said that after he was found guilty. The defense lawyers requested a new trial, citing this remark made by Mr. Davis, but the motion was denied.
Who are these people?
It's like they're holding Michael down and just beating him up.
This feels corrupt to me.
Absolutely. There had been appeals and requests made to help Michael get a retrial. In the year 2000, a request was granted to have the stain on the bed sheets retested. The new findings was that the stain contained DNA from Michael's sperm count as well as DNA from Christine. Okay.
Why would they retest that? Why would they retest that?
I guess they were grasping at straws.
Why pick that thing? Why not the hanky that was found outside?
And we'll get there.
Okay.
So, this was in the year 2000.
I should have been on this case, Lena.
I'm telling you. So, yeah, the defense felt that it was plausible that it could have happened during their intimate times, of course. So, it's not like,
And he's going to leave his son there with the door unlocked.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
So in 2005, the Innocence Project and the Rayleigh and Bowick law firm filed a motion requesting additional DNA testing on items of evidence from the crime scene. Mm-hmm. The court granted permission to test some of the items, such as fingernail clippings.
Okay. It's a start.
But of course, there's a chance to have Michael.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they approved the fingernail clippings and maybe some other things. I don't know, but they denied testing the bloodied bandana.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. October 2008, Greg Abbott was Texas Attorney General. Mm-hmm. He's now Texas governor.
Uh-huh.
He ordered that Michael's lawyers be provided with the investigative documents that were sealed during trial.
Yeah.
And so this is when they discovered that a report was made from a company in San Antonio called the Jewel Box. A woman fraudulently used Christine's credit card. This woman was identified by the police officer, but nothing was ever followed up on.
Why? I don't understand.
I can't answer it.
Why?
I can't answer that question. Other than it just went against the prosecution's case, what they had made up in their mind.
Ego.
Yeah,
Ego.
For sure.
Oh, can't stand it.
In these reports, they were able to read the neighbors.
So that's what I was going to ask you, if that came out at trial, or if the neighbor's testimony was sealed in those documents.
Yeah, it was all sealed.
That's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't his defense attorney go speak with the neighbors?
And that's what I am wondering. I mean,
ineffective assistance of counsel.
And so that's why I said earlier, like he had a good lawyer because he got him his job back.
Right.
But he was very ineffective, it seems.
This does feel ineffective. It doesn't seem like they had, I mean, if he would have presented anything.
Right.
It probably would have cast doubt. That's why the state won, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, they were able to read the neighbors' reports about the man in the green van and this man looking in the yard. Police were told that this man had repeatedly parked a green van on the street behind the Morton's house and walked off into a nearby wooded area.
Can you imagine laying eyes on that for the first time? You're in prison.
Yeah.
And you finally get documents that were withheld at your trial for murdering your wife.
Right.
And you're now laying eyes on they knew the whole time that there was someone suspicious.
Yeah.
I
mean, and there's so much more that I'm going to tell you about, but
gosh.
I mean, they knew they had the bloodied bandana, but there was no good DNA testing at the time. So,
okay, but let them test it down the line.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They also read that a $20 check that Christine was given was cashed 9 days after the murder with a forged signature.
Impossible if she's dead.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Sergeant Wood's notes pertaining to this said, Christine's relatives seem to think that her purse was stolen. Of course we know better.
What?
What arrogance is that?
Didn't he say her purse was gone?
So, yeah, Michael had noted that her purse and the gun was gone. Yeah. So he just didn't want to believe it. Another report in the midst was that Eric had told Christine's mother that a monster with gloves and a big mustache hit his mom in the head with something wooden.
Oh my gosh.
The monster put a blue suitcase and a basket on top of her, and Eric had told her that it wasn't his daddy, but it was a monster. He described the crime scene and murder and specifically said that his daddy was not home when the murder occurred.
Do you know if her family was supportive of Michael? Because I feel like that's such a hard thing. It's like, but they said you did it.
Right. And I never saw anything of what they said. I think they were supportive to an extent.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind of neutral. But this goes to show that what this child is saying is likely true. Because it's not the opposite. It's not that he's now been in her family's care for all this time and now he's corroborating the fact that his dad killed. This is organic. Like he has come up with this on his own.
Yeah. I mean, he gave specifics like hit her with something wooden.
And 3-year-olds do give specifics.
Yeah. Why would a 3-year-old say that?
They tell the truth.
Yeah. And he talked about the blue suitcase him putting the suitcase on the bed. So he saw it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it was Michael, most likely Eric would have said, Daddy did it, right? A 3-year-old. He wouldn't have said a monster. All of this evidence with the fresh prints
of Bel Air.
Fresh prints of Bel Air. The fresh footprint by the back fence, the fingerprints, they were all hidden from Michael's attorney.
That's unbelievable.
It wasn't until 2011 that the bandana and hair from the bandana was tested on.
Oh my God. He's lost so much time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The DNA testing lab reported that testing on the bandana revealed both Christine's DNA and the DNA of an unknown male.
What?
Mm-hmm. Shocker.
An unknown male Interesting.
So by this time, Michael had been in prison for about 24 years.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. But let me take you back to 1988 real quick. This was 2 years after Christine was murdered. Another murder had happened.
You don't say.
Close to the Mortons' home. On January 13th of 1988, Debra Masters Baker was murdered in a similar fashion. Christine and Debra were both married with small children and had long dark hair. Both of them were attacked in their homes and had blunt force trauma to the head. Both of them had items from their home piled on top of them.
What?
Who does that?
Yeah, that's not common. I mean, that
Right. And
we don't see that a lot.
Exactly. And both of them had their purses taken. Debra, just to tell you a little bit about her, she was born on May 19th of 1953. She was a daughter, sister, wife, mom, and a friend. She loved horses. In a statement later made by her daughter, Caitlin, who was 4 at the time that she was murdered, she said that Debra was selfless, generous, and loving. She had a passion for journalism, and she earned her degree from University of Texas.
Okay.
She was hardworking and dependable and would never back down from a challenge.
Another strong-willed woman.
See, there's so many similarities.
Interesting.
If she didn't know how to do something, she learned.
My kind of girl.
Yeah. She loved Barbra Streisand, dramatic movies, and Dr. Pepper. She was a night owl and lived on coffee and always applied her liquid black eyeliner perfectly.
I love her already.
I know. She was a fan of technology and thought her massive car phone was the coolest ever.
Amazing.
She was close to her family and always took care of everyone.
Debra.
The difference in these two cases was that Debra had been separated from her husband.
Okay.
I'm assuming he had an alibi. They didn't go after her husband the way that they went after Michael.
Interesting.
And her case would actually go cold and was unsolved for 23 years.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. So if these murders are just about identical and Michael was convicted of the first one, wouldn't he be the likely suspect for the
he snuck
second?
out of prison though.
Maybe.
And did it.
Maybe. Yeah, but he was already in prison. Oof.
That's a real pickle.
Yeah.
You got there.
Yeah. So no, someone else did this.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Innocence Project got involved, they had an inkling that the cases were related. When the DNA in Christine's case was retested, they had DNA from Debra's case tested.
Oh my gosh.
The tests in both cases matched to the same perpetrator.
Whoa.
The DNA was run through CODIS and matched to a man named Mark Norwood.
Okay.
The Innocence Project lawyer Nina Morrison and Houston lawyer John Rayleigh met with Austin Police Department cold case detectives to share information about Mark.
I'd be running to the office.
Yeah.
Going,
let's talk about this.
You can finish that salad later. We got to talk.
Yeah. Put down your taco and let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So Mark Norwood was a convicted felon from California.
Sure.
Who had a criminal record for drugs and burglary.
Burglary?
In Texas also.
Sounds familiar.
Right. And he lived in Austin, Texas, in the area at the time of both murders. More specifically, he lived less than a mile from Debra's home.
I bet he did.
And just to touch back on little Eric's account of what he saw, the monster with the big mustache. Michael didn't have a big mustache, but guess who did? Mark Norwood. It was actually huge. Like it went across his upper lip and then down his,
like
it was
Mario?
like chops almost. I mean,
stylish.
it was back in the 80s. Okay. So actually the prosecution claimed that at the time, at the first trial, that they claimed that Michael was wearing a full scuba suit during the attack.
What?
And that's why Eric didn't recognize him. They thought he was a
Why?
monster.
Why a scuba suit? What? Where did they get that from?
I mean, did they have this scuba suit? Was there blood on this scuba suit? What?
That's so random. I don't even know
Yeah,
what to
but
say.
Eric clearly saw a big mustache on his face. I mean, you can't see a big mustache in a scuba
suit.
Stupid.
It wouldn't fit in the goggles.
Make it make sense. A request was made to release Michael immediately.
Immediately, post haste.
He was released on October 4th of 2011 after spending almost 25 years in prison. And he was officially exonerated on December 19th,
my gosh.
2011.
Did he sue the absolute garbage?
He did. He got some money from it.
I hope he got millions.
Yeah, I didn't get into all that, but yeah, he got some money. Mark would finally face justice. In 2013, he went to trial for Christine's murder and was found guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison. In September of 2016,
good Lord,
he was tried again for Debra Baker's murder, and he received another life sentence.
I mean, you don't have to explain to me how the law works. I know it takes time, but what a production.
Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh, my Lord.
After all that Michael had been through, he has remained a kind-hearted man of faith who shows love and kindness. I mean, he's done several interviews, like TV interviews, and he's just so, you could see how soft-hearted he is. Michael made a statement that most times life isn't fair. You don't get what you deserve and you don't get what you want. So,
I mean, wow. I would be a miserable cow. There's no way.
Yeah. And he, in one interview, he said, you know, he thought he could take everything that was like handed to him.
Right.
In prison for life, he accepted it. Like,
yeah.
And they even tried to tell him, hey, if you just admit your guilt and whatever, we'll give you a lesser sentence or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he refused to do it. He's like, I cannot say that I'm guilty. Knowing that he's getting a life sentence.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that says a whole lot.
It does. And I always tell my girls, just make the best of it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking today when I dropped them off and I was driving home by myself, and I was thinking, I should follow my own advice, but there are some things that I can't make the best of. You know, there are some things that are so hard.
It's hard. Life
for me.
is hard.
Yeah. And I can't imagine him just saying, well, you know, I'm just gonna.
Yeah. And he talked about, you know, things that rolling with the punches, he thought he was strong enough. But one thing that really got him was Christine's sister would bring Eric to visit him in prison. And there was a point where Eric just didn't come anymore, and he told him he wasn't going to come. And when Christine's sister and her husband adopted Eric, that's when he broke. He felt like he couldn't.
Oh my God. Oh, I cannot even imagine.
I mean, he already lost so much, and now he's losing his son who he cared about so deeply.
Oh, I hope they reconnected.
They did reconnect. And I'll talk about that here in just a second. But in another report, after he had been out of prison for 5 months, he says, I came out of the gym the other morning and the sun was just over the horizon, and there was orange and purple and a little bit of a breeze that was drying the precipitation on my forehead. And it felt so good. I've been going to restaurants looking for things I have never eaten.
Aww.
I had crab meat manicotti recently.
Weird.
He says it was delicious. I'll take his word for it.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, he says my bad days are good. What a sweetheart.
I guess when you're finally let out, he just appreciates every single moment.
That's it. Appreciate life.
Wow.
After his release, Michael moved in with his parents until he could get stable enough for independence yet again. In March 2013, he married again to a Cynthia Chessman. She was a member of the church that he attended after his exoneration. The Innocence Project filed a brief on Michael's behalf, and the Texas Supreme Court ordered an unprecedented court of inquiry to determine whether Ken Anderson, the former prosecutor, who went on to become a judge,
who climbed the ladder, no doubt.
They wanted to determine if he had committed misconduct. I'd say. The court of inquiry ruled there to be probable cause to believe Ken Anderson had violated criminal laws by concealing evidence. He was charged with criminal contempt and tampering with evidence for concealing the exculpatory information from the trial judge and Michael's defense team.
Wow. I mean, like, this doesn't normally happen.
Exactly.
They just go, oh,
right.
Let's move on.
But no.
Wow. Good.
Yeah.
Now, those are some good lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. The State Bar of Texas also brought ethics charges against Mr. Anderson. In November of 2013, Mr. Anderson entered a plea to criminal contempt and agreed to serve a whopping 10-day jail sentence.
Oh.
He resigned from his position as a district court judge and was disbarred.
Good.
Permanently surrendering his
Strip
law
him of
law
his
license.
robe.
Mm-hmm. After 96 hours of good behavior, he was released.
Please.
Because of Michael's imprisonment, he, like I said earlier, lost his relationship with his son, especially in those critical formative years.
I cannot even imagine.
But when he gained his freedom, Eric was already a grown adult with a family of his own.
Aww.
And he was able to build that relationship back.
That's so great.
At the time, Texas governor was Rick Perry. He signed a bill called the Michael Morton Act, and that requires prosecutors to open their files to defendants and keep records of the evidence they disclose.
That feels archaic to me.
Yeah.
That feels like that was already a thing. Like,
it should have been.
Oh,
absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I'm flabbergasted.
While in prison, Michael was able to obtain a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in literature. Like, we talk about these prisoners like, what? They get to go to school and
they do
learn and have a life. And when
they get to have a job. And
when these people that they murdered don't get their life. But these are the cases that it's so worth it for these prisoners to have available to them.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear more from Michael's personal perspective, you can read his memoir, Getting Life, An Innocent Man's 25-Year Journey from Prison to Peace.
Oh, Michael.
I know.
I don't read, but I think I'm just going to order it. Oh, my. That's heartbreaking. Just when I hear of people that are wrongfully convicted, it makes me feel sick. Just the amount of time they have lost.
25 years in this case.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank God the wrong has been righted.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that was, I can say I'm proud of, good on you, Texas.
Yeah.
Good job for that.
Hook 'em horns. Well, thank you for telling that story. That's heartbreaking that it had to go down this way.
Yeah.
He probably didn't even have any real time to grieve his loss and properly, that, and he just loses everything. His son too.
Yeah.
And rest in peace, Christine and Debra.
Yes.
Wow.
Angels.
Y'all were just momming, and this is the thanks you get.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, That was great. Let's do it again sometime.
All right. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cousins on Crime. Get connected with us by becoming a free member on our Patreon. Or for just $5 a month, you'll have access to bonus episodes, discussion groups, and much more. If you can't afford $5 a month, we get it. Inflation, am I right? Please consider leaving us a positive review and rating wherever you listen.
And don't forget merch. Support our podcast and show the love by sporting t-shirts with our latest designs, or grab an evidence bag to keep the chain of custody for all your valuables. Don't forget to follow our show on your favorite streaming app so you never miss an episode, and get photos and updates on our Instagram at Cousins on Crime Podcast or our Cousins on Crime Facebook page. Have a case suggestion? Email us at cousinsoncrime@gmail.com.